In the shadowed peaks of the mortal world, where the wind whispers secrets of power and peril, a lone figure treads the treacherous path of immortality. Welcome, Wanderers of the Void, to Renegade Immortal, Chapter 593, Chapter 594, where the fate of the indomitable Wang Lin hangs by a thread. As rival clans stir and ancient techniques awaken in the silent mountains, every choice brims with consequence, and every heartbeat may echo across realms. Prepare to witness the unfolding of trials that will test both flesh and spirit, and linger on the edge of destiny itself. For in these chapters, the winds of chaos gather, and the storm of immortals approaches. Listen closely, for what I am about to tell is a moment where destiny trembles, where the will of a single cultivator challenges the edicts of the heavens themselves. The air itself seems to hold its breath, awaiting the choice of one man whose heart is caught between sorrow and defiance. Wang Lin stood before the demon drum, his hand hovering, trembling, yet poised above the instrument that could decide the path of his Tao. To forget, to truly erase every trace of Li Muan from his heart, to extinguish even the memory of her presence within him. That was the cost. If her soul ever awakened in the heaven-defying bead, he would feel nothing. Only a smile, a courteous return to planet Suzaku. Let all that was past remain in the shadows, gone, without regret. A gentle wind stirred around him, teasing the strands of his hair, carrying with it the weight of impossible choices. The Heaven Commander-in-Chief's gaze, sharp and penetrating, fixed on Wang Lin. He could see into the depths of the young cultivator's hesitation, muttering under his breath, his voice a mixture of awe and reflection. Will he press his hand down? Back then, I chose to press it down. Ascendant, to tread this path. Those untested in its trials cannot fathom what it truly demands. His words carried the weight of centuries. Ascendant, so simple for those without attachments, yet for those who bear lingering feelings, the road becomes a torment. Their domain's breakthrough, instead of a triumph, becomes a crucible of suffering. Only a heart unshackled by emotion could ascend easily, for simplicity breeds no struggle, and struggle forges strength. Xianxia, the sole female commander-in-chief, watched from the sidelines, a trace of mocking amusement in her gaze. Sadness had long left her face, replaced now by a knowing smirk at Wang Lin's dilemma. She understood the trial of the ascendant stage better than most, her master having walked the path of cultivation. Could he abandon all sentiment, she wondered, or would the chains of the heart hold him back? Xiao's eyes narrowed, his lips curling in a snort of disdain. Deliberately trying to make it mysterious, he muttered, suspicion lining his voice. Beside him, Chen Tao frowned, unsettled. For the first time, even he found the demon general's aura repulsive. After a moment of reflection, he spoke with calm resignation. You cannot fathom the struggle within him, as mortals cannot comprehend the heart of a celestial. Xiao turned to consider this, his mind silent in thought. Mo Fei's expression, already unreadable, hardened further. His whisper, only heard by the Dalu's sword-sect cultivator behind him, trembled in its intensity. You are as enviable as he once was. Interesting. The words sent a shiver through the one who heard them. Even the Xuan vice commander-in-chief, though not a cultivator himself, could sense the weight of Wang Lin's hesitation. Though unfamiliar with the intricacies of ascendant cultivation, the pause of Wang Lin's hand spoke volumes. Far across the waters, a boat drifted lazily under the open sky. The young man who had spent the night drinking with Wang Lin sat at the bow, cup in hand, drinking deep before murmuring, "Little guy, how will you choose?" A woman played a zither nearby, yet now she simply sat in silence, her fingers resting lightly on the strings. As if even music feared to interrupt the gravity of the moment, Wang Lin's gaze remained locked on the demon drum. His mind wrestled with the truth of the ascendant path. For his Tao heart to be complete, must he truly erase every trace of sadness, every memory of Wan-Er? Could he call this his cultivation, his path, if it required sacrificing the conscience that defined him? Each vision of Li Muan, each memory of her presence, flashed before his eyes, a torrent of longing and pain. To abandon all feeling, to turn her into nothing but a tool for my Tao, is that truly my path? He thought. The heavens are cruel, yet if I yield to them, how do I defy? To cast away my feelings as others have, fleeing the trial, that is no defiance, only escape. His resolve crystallized like tempered steel. My Tao is defiance. To walk against the heavens, that is my path. To deceive the heavens, to challenge the very order that binds them, that is the truth of my cultivation. With a sudden clarity, Wang Lin's eyes blazed with determination. He would not abandon the lingering feelings that tied him to Li Muan. No, not even the heavens could take that from him. He lifted his gaze to the sky, and an aura surged forth, astonishing in its intensity. Though not immense in raw power, it cut through the air like a celestial blade, piercing the clouds and opening the heavens themselves. The spectators, even the Heaven Commander-in-Chief, trembled. Shock, awe, and admiration mingled in their eyes. His choice mirrors the Demon Emperor's, whispered the commander, his voice thick with meaning. The golden-armored man, sensing the aura, paled. He had thought the pause would grant him an opportunity, yet now disaster loomed before him, a storm of intent and power aimed squarely at Wang Lin. If I strike him before the 15th ring, the Emperor may scold me, but I shall bear it. He is but a cultivator, and I am a servant of the Sky Demon country with merits untold. The man thought, eyes blazing with killing intent, but the aura receded as swiftly as it appeared. Wang Lin spoke to the heavens with his actions alone. True cultivation is to defy the heavens. Ascension is not mere erasure of sorrow, but mastery over one's self. The heavens cannot command him. Only his own heart can determine his path. With renewed determination, he drew the sorrow born from Li Muan's departure into his right hand, fusing it with his essence. Lightning ripped across the sky, serpentine and silver, heralding the shift in the world above the imperial city. Citizens lifted their eyes, astonished, as the heavens themselves seemed to respond to the cultivation of one man. Even the young man on the distant boat stood, wine cup abandoned, eyes burning with anticipation. Far away, in the blackened tower atop an ancient battlefield, Hu Pao's training halted as a ghostly light flickered within the helm of black armor. Terrifying fluctuations surged into the sky, and a voice, ethereal and commanding, whispered approval. Heaven-defying cultivation. Very good. At the imperial square, Wang Lin's sorrow condensed, his right hand pulsing with boundless grief. With a decisive motion, he pressed down upon the demon drum. The golden-armored man's eyes seethed with murderous intent. He surged forward, the air around his legs crackling with unimaginable speed, a blazing sphere of light held high as if he bore the sun itself. I cannot allow the 15th ring to sound. Even if the Emperor judges me, death shall not sway me, he roared, flames consuming the earth for 1,000 feet around him. The Heaven Commander-in-Chief leapt from his stand, forming a seal of black light, attempting to intercept. Yet the golden-armored man, cruel and determined, ignored him, the malicious smile on his face belying any fear. Then, in a voice that shook the void itself, the young man from the boat cried, "You dare! You deserve to die!" And at that instant, the killing intent vanished. The flames dimmed. A cold aura encircled the golden-armored man, extinguishing the inferno and shattering his armor. Blood spewed from his lips. The sun in his grasp snuffed out, leaving him broken and trembling before the indomitable will of Wang Lin. In that moment, the heavens themselves seemed to bow to defiance, as the path of a cultivator, forged through grief and unyielding determination, became legend. In a heartbeat, the world itself seemed to shudder. The Heaven Commander-in-Chief and the golden-armored warrior had unleashed their powers, and where their spells collided, reality wavered. The air rippled like heated metal, and even seasoned cultivators would have trembled before such force. The Heaven Commander-in-Chief's eyes widened in disbelief. He had been close enough to see it. The golden-armored warrior, a figure of unyielding might, staggered under injuries that should have been fatal. Not one, but 2 grievous wounds tore through him. If the commander had truly sought death, the man in gold would already be nothing but ashes. Yet, the spell that struck had been meant only to restrain, not to end a life, and so he pulled back, the tension in the air snapping like a taut bowstring. To any onlooker, it seemed clear. The golden-armored warrior had been struck down by the Heaven Commander-in-Chief, his form crumbling beneath the invisible blow. Blood leaked from his lips, his body shivering, veins and meridians fractured under the assault. The mighty dragon of demonic spiritual power was now reduced to a fragile, trembling shell. That snort! He gasped in horror. It eclipsed even the Demon Emperor's power. It wasn't merely stronger, it existed on a plane beyond reckoning. He never meant to kill me. If he had, I would already be gone. Cold sweat clung to his skin. The collapse of his energy left him pale and weak, a shadow of his former glory. Yet, close by, Wang Lin observed carefully. He could see what others could not. The Heaven Commander-in-Chief's spell had never truly landed. The golden armored warrior's grievous injuries were a cruel illusion, a ruse of misfortune. Wang Lin's eyes flickered with clarity and opportunity. This was the moment. If he did not act now, he would lose the chance to strike decisively. Without hesitation, Wang Lin lifted his hand from the demon drum, his grip firm on the faltering figure in golden armor. His eyes blazed with killing intent. A storm of sorrow and fury coiled in his heart. With unrelenting force, he hurled the golden-armored man into the demon drum, a thunderous collision that sent blood mist spraying across the sacred instrument. This strike was no ordinary attack. It carried all the grief, the bitterness, and the unresolved anguish in Wang Lin's soul. As the golden-armored body slammed into the drum, the full weight of Wang Lin's emotion pierced through him, flowing from his arm into the man and into the drum itself. Dong! The drum rang, a sound that resonated through bone and spirit alike. The force rebounded with merciless precision, tearing through flesh and meridians. The golden-armored man, Ji Wushu, chief of the Golden Guard, erupted into a storm of blood and spirit, his body shattered beyond repair. Even his soul could not withstand the devastating echo, scattering like fine mist in the wind. Every trace of him vanished. The world no longer bore witness to his presence. One drum ring might take an arm, 10 could take 2, 15, but this 15th, this final strike, claimed his very life. The battlefield fell silent. The young man on the boat stirred, muttering, "Dead! How could it end this way?" His gaze sharpened, eyes narrowing into blades of killing intent, as if piercing through Sky Demon City itself, before he lowered his head as though nothing had happened. Among the commanders, awe and complex emotion rippled through the ranks. The Heaven Commander-in-Chief looked at Wang Lin, a flicker of admiration in his eyes, as if witnessing his own lost potential mirrored in the youth. 7 other Commander-in-Chiefs regarded him with complicated expressions, not for his cultivation, but for the audacity of striking the drum 15 times. 15 times! None had ever dared such an act. Wang Lin now stood as the one who had resonated the drum most in the history of Sky Demon Country. Even the vice commanders were stunned into silence. The Swan Vice Commander-in-Chief drew a cold breath, feeling the stirrings of a breakthrough long denied him, awakened by the resonance of Wang Lin's marrow cleansing and the profound change in his heart. Observers, shock transformed into respect. Not mere respect, but the reverence owed to a cultivator who defied the limits of mortal strength. The 15th strike rang across the sky, mingling with the scent of blood and sorrow. Lightning clawed through the heavens, silver snakes dancing across darkened clouds, and thunder rolled like celestial drums. The resonance of Wang Lin's final ring fused with the storm, transforming personal grief into the sorrow of the heavens themselves. Every soul in Sky Demon City felt it. Tears came unbidden as the world absorbed the magnitude of this lament. On the boat, the zither's strings responded, a soft, mournful melody echoing the vast sadness. Wang Lin raised his gaze to the heavens, whispering, "I retained my attachment." His words were a testament, a declaration to the boundless Tao of the skies. The heavens' Tao governs all existence, indifferent and pervasive, descending whether mortal or divine wills it. The Tao is not constrained by royal decree or celestial edict. It manifests wherever existence permits. And in the hidden depths of that eternal Tao, when it turns visible, there is only one reckoning: divine retribution. Though the celestial realm may have fallen, divine retribution remains. It waits for the arrival of a cultivator who defies the heavens, one whose presence alone summons the judgment of the universe. On this day, with the 15th ring echoing, Wang Lin's Tao rose, a manifestation of grief, power, and heaven-defying will. The world trembled, and the legend of the golden-armored warrior's demise was written into the annals of Sky Demon City, echoing through the storm and across the boundless lands of the demon spirit realm.